so that the shot will play in slow motion, accentuating the sensation of zero-G. The explosion will seem brief to the naked eye, but filmed at 240 frames per second, it will last 10 seconds on the screen.
It'll look like a little firecracker going off when you record it with the video camera, but when you see it on film, it'll look like a big explosion.
Everyone takes his or her position as the explosive charges are made live.
Roll camera! Rolling!
The high-speed camera revs up and locks in at 240 frames per second.
It wasn't exactly the way we had in mind when it exploded, so what we're going to do is they're increase the explosion so it shatters more, and then also cuts the wire so the ship is not left hanging.
A second breakaway model is rigged with even more explosives and then suspended for the next take. The second explosion is better, but Rob feels he needs one more try. The next take will use the last model, so this will have to be the final attempt.
It's a souvenir for a Star Trek convention. We're going to have these autographed and sent out.
The final explosion completely destroys the starship.
That was great. That was worth waiting for. Usually, for some reason, everything goes in threes. And on the third one, we nailed it.
Finally, the whole sequence is assembled, and the results are spectacular. Next, Rob and master model maker Greg Jean will attempt to create a miniature hell planet on a Hollywood soundstage. A landscape model involves entirely different concerns than a structural model like a starship or space station. With a landscape, building a believable environment is more important than technical precision. Landscape miniatures are frequently used to create highly stylized locations. These Las Vegas miniatures from Francis Ford Coppola's One from the Heart were constructed on a soundstage where the lighting and camera moves could be carefully controlled. Another important use for miniature landscapes is to create logistically impossible environments, such as these Martian vistas from Total Recall. For Deep Space Nine, Rob Legato needs an uninviting, stormy planet surface. Since no such location exists, Rob must create it entirely in miniature.
People land on this planet or this planet's surface, one looks out the window and sees a hellstorm. The other person, exactly the same time, sees a garden. And this whole motion control thing is set up because the hell reality is all miniature. It's all a 20-foot by 18-foot miniature landscape.
The garden is the easy part. A Los Angeles park provides the perfect environment. For the miniature hell planet, Rob turns to award-winning model builder Greg Jean.
46 degrees, but we're just sort of going like that to see how far we show off the sides.
How much do these things go for? Expensive?
A veteran of the hunt for Red October, War Games, and Star Trek The Next Generation, Greg's crowning achievement would have to be the mothership he built for Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
We just about finished it when Steven decided he wanted to change the design, and he called in Ralph McQuarrie to do some sketches, who had just done a lot of work for George Lucas up on Star Wars. And then our shop made some little maquettes, and we sort of combined them both together and got that sort of floating refinery in space look.
Some of Greg's finest work has been with landscape miniatures. The scale landscapes of Los Angeles he built for Spielberg's 1941 were the largest project he has ever undertaken.
1941 was probably our most intricate set and the one I liked the best. It was actually a miniature that belonged in a museum rather than on a soundstage. Model making is basically a therapy to me. It's like basket weaving. If I don't do something with my hands, I would probably go nuts.
For the Hell Planet landscape, Greg has model maker Mike Hosh carve the rough structures of the canyon cliffs out of 8-foot pieces of foam. Hosh uses a light polyurethane foam, which is easy to sculpt in great detail.
You just have to transfer in Sharpie what areas we cut out so we can just start whacking it out.
The canyon floor is first built from a denser, rigid urethane foam in a scaled-down version known as a maquette.
Once we set that up, you can just start whacking away. Wire brush.
The dimensions are later translated to larger pieces of the same material by his team of sculptors.
And we're going to extend the bases so they drop and show more.
Once the individual pieces are complete, they are assembled on a stage over the course of a day. It took Gene and his crew 3 weeks to create the 62 pieces that make up the Hell landscape.
This is hell, as you can plainly see.
The Hell Planet landscape miniature will be shot with a variety of physical effects, which are used to create the illusion of a full-scale storm scene.
As much hell as we can afford is what we got.
The timing of the lightning will be programmed into a computer. It must perfectly match what will later be shot on the live-action stage. The planet is blanketed with an eerie mist, created using liquid nitrogen, or LN2, which is kept under pressure at minus 320 degrees Fahrenheit. When all of the elements are brought together, the completed Hell Planet is a menacing sight.
It's beautiful.
You have a strange eye for beauty, Dax.
Next, the stars of Deep Space Nine are brought in to play this dramatic scene. Dax, played by Terry Farrell, can only see a peaceful garden, while Avery Brooks as Sisko imagines he's on a hostile planet. The challenge for these actors is that they will see only a blue background.
I am Commander Benjamin Sisko of the United Federation of Planets.
Later, all the blue will be replaced by images of the garden or the Hell Planet.
I suppose the only way to prepare for blue screen is to go into your imagination, ultimately. I mean, you have to use your imagination all the time.
Low-level ionic pattern. It's probing us.
Someone's idea of shaking hands, maybe.
Most of the time we speak to the actors and tell them what it is that we're going to put in, because all they see is just blue or an X on a C-stand or something like that to where their eye line's going to be. And it's pretty hard for them to picture this exciting hellstorm when there's none of the elements are there.
No, they haven't told me how they're going to create this shot. You're going to have to go and see, too.
While the actors play the scene, Legato must keep the entire puzzle together in his head.
The hard part is imagining all that in advance, saying, okay, this is what we really want to do, then break it up. So he's, okay, this is going to shoot here in a garden, this is going to shoot blue screen, this is going to shoot as a landscape miniature, this is going to be clouds, and figure out how it's all going to cut together and try to do it in some economic way.
Creating a sequence this elaborate requires extensive planning and flawless execution. The results show that the effects team's efforts are rewarded. Models and miniatures are utilized to create a variety of different effects, whether a scene requires a mile-long space station, a stormy planet, or a fiery explosion. These resourceful craftspeople are counted on to deliver.
The model building today is just overwhelming as far as the detail, the credibility, compared to the models that were built and the way they were shot, say, 25 years ago for Star Trek.
As long as effects artists like Greg Jean, Rob Legato, and Tony Meininger are creating the star hardware, effect scenes featuring miniatures are sure to be a model of perfection.